Toyota reveals an all-new Camry to compete with Ford's new Mustang, and a cursed stock car is about to make its return. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Busy NASCAR news day. Glad you tuned in. You may have seen earlier this morning I uploaded an excerpt from a recent interview I did with Jesse Love, defending ARCA Menard Series champion. He's moving from the Toyota system to Richard Childress Racing's Xfinity program next year. Brennan Poole and I talked to Jesse Love about those very topics and a whole lot more on the most recent episode of Power Hour. You can click the top link down below or find Power Hour wherever you get your podcasts. The full version will also be posted here to YouTube later this week. I encourage y'all to go check that out, but first we have a ton of NASCAR news to catch up on, a lot of announcements and some teasers we'll cover in a sec. First things first, NASCAR has revealed the most popular driver top 5 vote getters for each series. Those drivers are, in alphabetical order, in trucks, Hailie Deegan, Matt DiBenedetto, Stuart Friesen, Carson Hocevar, and Ben Rhodes. In the Xfinity Series, the top 5 are Justin Allgaier, Josh Berry, Sheldon Creed, Cole Custer, and Josh Williams. How about that? And then for Cup, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson. Nice to see all 3 champions represented. A little surprised Kevin Harvick didn't crack the top 5. Also a little surprised to see Stuart Friesen's name come up in the truck series, but good for him. I don't play favorites on this show, but if I were to guess who I think is going to win the award for each series, I think Hailie Deegan will win it once again for trucks. She won it last year. I think she won it the year before as well. She might be going for a three-peat. The Xfinity Series is interesting. Justin Allgaier has won it 3 times in the past, but last year it was Noah Gragson. Noah's not on the ballot this year. I wonder if Josh Berry has a shot. You know, he's moving up to the Cup Series. I think his name has been in a lot of folks' mouths this year. He made some Cup starts. Sheldon Creed may be a dark horse as well, since a lot of fans took his side during the RCR split. But I think Josh Berry will win it for the Xfinity Series. And then for Cup, I gotta go Chase Elliott. It's gonna be Chase Elliott until someone comes along and dethrones him. It is neat to see so many young drivers on that list. Again, I'm a little surprised Harvick's not there. Hamlin, Truex, actually Hamlin's not surprising. He does have a lot of fans, but I could see the haters organizing to make sure Hamlin doesn't crack the top 5. I'd argue Hamlin's haters are as or even more passionate than his fans. So those are my guesses. Deegan, Berry, Elliott. I believe voting closes today or tomorrow. Let me double check. NASCAR's website says Wednesday, November 30th, but today's the 27th, so the 30th is Thursday. So I don't know, you have until Wednesday or Thursday, it sounds like. Just get your votes in ASAP, I guess that's the lesson. The cursed Roush 60 car may be back from the grave. The old Roush 60 team Twitter account, or X account, posted today for the first time in over 5 years. Just this little teaser. At first I wasn't sure if maybe they got hacked, this was some elaborate troll effort, but then the official RFK Racing X account reposted it, commented, confirmed it's real. A huge surprise this morning, though perhaps an even bigger surprise is that they were able to find their old password for that account after all these years. I know it's a meme at this point, but the curse of the Roush Xfinity Series 60 car feels very real. Roush used to dominate the Xfinity Series. As recently as the 2010s, Ricky Stenhouse won back-to-back titles in 2011 and 2012. Chris Buescher, driving the 60 car, won the title in 2015. They must have sold their soul or something to win that championship, because just a few years later, the 60 team suffered through one of the worst seasons we've ever seen from a supposed contender. In the 2018 season, Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, and Ty Majeski combined to score only 5 top 10 finishes, lead only 6 laps, and did not finish 12 out of 33 races. They did not win a race. They didn't even score a single top 5. It was so bad, Roush shut down their Xfinity Series program at the end of that season. I was shocked earlier this year when I visited RFK Racing and they gave me a little tour, let me watch some of pit stop practice, and they actually had a 60 Xfinity Series car sitting there that they use for, I guess, Xfinity Series pit stops. If I was in charge, I would have exorcised all remnants of the 60 team from the property. But now, it sounds like the 60 car is coming back. But in what capacity? Does this mean Roush is reviving their Xfinity Series operation? I went back and found a quote from team co-owner Brad Keselowski just a few months ago. This was back in September. He was asked if the team would consider starting up an Xfinity team once again, and Brad Keselowski said, quote, "It would have to be the right opportunity that I think makes sense for us and for whatever partners we would have. I think we're pretty open-minded to growth as a whole, as long as it's responsible growth and serves all the parties. That's what it takes to be sustainable. So, I would never say never, but there's nothing imminent at the moment." Granted, that quote is a couple months old, but Brad Keselowski was singing a very different tune there. So maybe the 60 is a new Cup Series entry. I doubt it's a full-time entry. They would likely need to acquire a charter, and most recently, Live Fast sold their charter to Spire for $40 million reportedly. Spire could afford it because Gainbridge has come in and basically taken over that team, a huge injection of cash. As far as I know, RFK does not have that kind of cash laying around. So maybe it's just a part-time Cup Series effort. Maybe this is RFK's answer to Trackhouse's Project 91. That could be pretty cool, but then there's a third option. If they don't want to go full-time, maybe not even part-time, maybe they bring the 60 car back for just one race. What if the 60 car enters the Daytona 500? It's hard to make money as an open entry in NASCAR, but the easiest race to sell sponsorship for is probably the Daytona 500. And this year, we saw Legacy Motor Club, 2311, Colleague, Front Row, all bring an open entry to that race. Could RFK have a driver and sponsor lined up for just that race? We'll have to wait and see. But very exciting nonetheless, the cursed 60 car is back to perhaps break the curse once and for all. Hey, maybe the right guy to break that curse is the guy who's made more starts in the Xfinity Series number 60 than anyone in NASCAR history, Carl Edwards. I had to do it. I had to say it. I actually looked up the numbers. Mark Martin actually has one more win than Carl Edwards in the Xfinity Series number 60. They are 1-2 on that all-time wins list. I don't think Mark Martin's coming out of retirement. Carl, gotta break the curse somehow, some way. Someone had to do it. I'm surprised Twitter hasn't already begun predicting Carl Edwards' NASCAR return. Anyway, let's move on to some real news, or an actual announcement, not just a teaser. Toyota has revealed their all-new Camry that will debut in the NASCAR Cup Series next season. Take a look. Ooh, this new car is based off the 2025 Toyota Camry XSE. Let's put a little side by side here of a couple photos and renderings. Yeah, absolutely can see the similarities, no doubt. Just looking at the new NASCAR Camry, all of its features just seem more muted than the sharp angles and edges of the previous Camry. Looking a little closer, the hood vents seem to be a bit different as well. Perhaps the most radical change, though, is the nose. Look at this angle. Just look how flat that bumper is, clearly designed to help these cars push better at super speedways. One other interesting detail is the lack of massive front fender flares. A couple weeks back, Ford revealed their all-new Mustang Dark Horse that will race Cup next season, and look at the edges on this thing. Oh my gosh. I'm no engineer. I don't know exactly what that will do aerodynamically. I don't know where the advantage is, but there must be an advantage somewhere. I can't imagine Ford would do something like that if it didn't make sense. But again, Toyota's design, more muted, more minimal, simple. It seems like Toyota has designed this car to be more well-rounded, more balanced. Maybe a slight emphasis put on super speedway racing, which makes sense. I had to double check the stats on this, but Toyota is 0 for 12. They have not won a single super speedway race in the next-gen era. So clearly they needed to make improvements. This car is going to bump draft a lot easier, I'm sure, than the previous design. We won't have to wait long to see this car on track. Christopher Bell and Eric Jones will drive this new Camry at Phoenix Raceway next month, or next week actually, in a test. So that is exciting. What do you guys think of this new design? I'm torn. It's going to take some getting used to. I really like, again, the angles, the look of the most recent Toyota Camry. This one, To me, it's the most Toyota Camry looking design you could imagine. I drive a Toyota Camry, and I did not buy that Camry because I thought it looked super cool or exciting. I bought it because, well, one, I got a really good deal on it used, and two, because I just needed a car that wasn't going to break down on me driving back and forth between home and college. This design isn't flashy. I don't think it's going to turn many heads, but it's well-rounded. It may race well. And I guess ultimately that's what's most important on the competition side of things. On the branding, trying to sell cars side, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What do you make of Toyota's new redesign? And how do you think Toyota will perform next season? I'm thinking back to when Toyota revealed the previous Camry design. That was the start of 2017. They immediately won the championship, won the title with Martin Truex Jr. the first year of that new Camry. You contrast that with Chevrolet, who introduced the Camaro design in 2018 and kind of struggled by their standards off the bat. When Ford switched from the Fusion to the Mustang, I don't remember them missing a beat. That was going into 2019. I think Harvick, Logano won multiple races each. I think Toyota had 3 of the 4 championship 4 spots that year, but Harvick still made it. So Ford didn't miss a beat. Toyota certainly didn't miss a beat the last time they made a change, but Chevy kind of did. Obviously, Chevy's figured it out since then, but what do you think? Will Toyota struggle out the gates next year? Or, and this is my theory, I think Chevy's going to struggle out the gates next year. I think Chevy fired off faster than anyone at the start of the next gen era. Go back to the start of 2022. Remember all the conversation was, Hendrick looks great, but beyond just Hendrick, whoa, Trackhouse is a contender. RCR got both their cars in the playoffs that year. Eric Jones with Petty GMS won a race. But while Chevy got off to a hot start, think about the end of this year. It was Christopher Bell winning a lot of races in a Toyota. It was Ryan Blaney getting hot at the right time in a Ford. I know Chastain won the final race, but overall Trackhouse seemed a little off the second half of this year. Stenhouse fell off once the playoffs began. Kyle Busch won 3 races early in the year, couldn't keep that pace up. Austin Dillon had his worst year of his Cup career, arguably. So I think you could argue that Ford and Toyota have caught up to Chevy the past few months. Now they've got all new redesigned race cars and front bumpers. Chevy's going to be living in the past for at least one more year until they come up with what's going to replace the Camaro. So I could actually see Chevy falling slightly further behind at the start of 2024. It'll be Ford and Toyota's year. That's my early prediction. It's not to say Chevy's going to be terrible. Hendrick's going to win races. Larson, I think Elliott's going to bounce back. Byron, even Bowman. Hendrick will be good. Trackhouse will probably be good. RCR, especially with Kyle Busch, will be good. Let me just say, I think Legacy Motor Club is hopping on the Toyota bandwagon at just the right time. I expect Toyota to fire off strong next season. That's just my early prediction. Let me know what you think though down in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this episode. Hit the subscribe button if you love all things NASCAR and want to stay up to date all throughout the off season. And a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for your support. Once again, be sure to check out the latest episode of Power Hour wherever you get your podcasts, or you can click that top link down in the description below. Thanks for watching, folks. I will catch you again later this week. Have a good one.